Have you ever noticed that the more you explain yourself, the weaker you look? Think about it. Every time you rush to justify your actions, every time you scramble to make someone understand your side, you're giving away something far more valuable than words. You're giving away your power. And here's the part nobody tells you. People don't respect explanations, they respect certainty. When you start explaining, you're unconsciously begging for approval. You're saying, "Please, see me the way I want you to." But the moment you do that, you're no longer in control of the frame. They are. Machiavelli knew this. That's why he said, "The more you let people wonder about your motives, the stronger you appear." Silence, mystery, and the refusal to explain yourself. These are power moves. Because when you don't explain, people are forced to create their own reasons. And here's the psychological twist. The reasons they create are often more flattering, more powerful, and more intimidating than anything you could have said. So let me ask you, are you tired of being overlooked? Are you done with always being the one to make peace, to defend yourself, to try and prove your worth? Because today, we're going to break down why explaining yourself is the fastest way to lose respect, and how staying silent, holding your ground, and letting people wonder will change the way the world sees you forever. Think about the last time someone questioned your decision. Maybe it was a friend asking, "Why didn't you text me back?" Or maybe it was a boss raising an eyebrow and saying, "Why did you choose that approach?" What did you do? Chances are, you explained. You listed reasons, gave context, tried to show them you weren't wrong. And in that moment, you probably felt like you were defending yourself. But here's the dark truth. To the other person, it didn't look like strength, it looked like weakness. Why? Because explaining puts you in the position of a defendant in court. You're no longer the judge. You're no longer in control. You're standing there, waiting for the jury, your boss, your friend, your partner, to either accept or reject your reasoning. And once you're in that position, you've already lost. Now, here's the psychology behind it. Humans are wired to equate certainty with authority. We don't respect the person who asks for validation. We respect the one who doesn't need it. The one who can make a choice, stand on it, and say nothing. When you rush to explain, you're signaling doubt, even if your reasoning is rock solid. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago, and modern psychology backs it up. In persuasion studies, researchers found that people who spoke less, but with calm conviction, were rated as more powerful, more intelligent, and more trustworthy than those who over-explained. It's not about what you say, it's about the energy of not needing to say it. Explaining yourself is like paying rent on your own decisions. You're asking someone else for permission to exist the way you do. But the truth? You don't need permission. When you stop explaining, you take back control of the frame. You set the terms. And that's where the silent power begins. Let's be real. Human beings are obsessed with filling in blanks. Our brains hate uncertainty. When we don't have the full picture, we start guessing, imagining, even exaggerating to make sense of what we see. That's why silence is so powerful. When you refuse to explain yourself, you leave a blank space. And that blank space forces people to work harder to figure you out. Here's the kicker. The story people create in their heads is often far more powerful than anything you could have told them. Think about the coworker who rarely shares their personal life. Isn't it strange how people lean in more, gossip more, speculate more? They say things like, "I wonder what they're really about," or "They probably have something big going on." Notice what's happening. Their silence is creating an aura of depth, of power, of mystery. Now contrast that with the oversharer, the person who explains every detail, who justifies every choice, who lays their entire life bare. Do they inspire respect? Or do they feel smaller, predictable, easy to read? Machiavelli would argue this. Power doesn't come from what you reveal, it comes from what you conceal. Because when people can't fully read you, they can't fully control you. And here's the psychology behind it. This is called the ambiguity effect. When people don't have enough information, they fill the gap with their own assumptions. And assumptions are usually more extreme, sometimes more flattering, than reality. If you're silent about why you walked away from a situation, some will assume you had higher standards. If you don't explain why you didn't chase someone back, they'll assume you had better options. Silence, then, isn't passive, it's active. It makes people lean forward. It forces them to think. It unsettles them, but it also intrigues them. And in that intrigue lies your power. Here's a truth that stings a little. Every time you explain yourself, you're training people how to treat you. You might think you're clearing the air or showing transparency, but what you're really doing is teaching them that your choices need approval. Think of it like this. If a child asks their parent, "Why can't I have candy before dinner?" and the parent launches into a 5-minute explanation about nutrition, sugar spikes, dental health, and sleep schedules, what happens? The kid learns, if I push hard enough, they'll justify themselves. But if the parent simply says, "Because I said so," the child might pout, but deep down they recognize authority. Adults aren't that different. When you constantly explain, people learn to press. They learn to question you. They learn that you're not entirely sure of yourself, and once they sense that, they will exploit it. Some will use it to manipulate you. Others will simply lose respect. Psychologists call this signal reinforcement. Whatever behavior you repeat becomes the signal people attach to you. If you repeatedly justify yourself, people start to believe you owe them explanations. And eventually, your silence will feel out of character, like you've done something wrong, when in reality, you've just been overgiving all along. Because here's the paradox. The more you explain, the less believable you become. People start thinking, why are they trying so hard to convince me? What aren't they telling me? Your very effort to appear strong creates suspicion of weakness. Now, this doesn't mean you should never communicate. There's a difference between clarity and justification. Clarity is giving instructions, facts, or updates. Justification is defending yourself to prove worth. One commands respect, the other bleeds it dry. And once people are trained to see you as someone who always explains, it's almost impossible to regain the upper hand. Unless you stop. Unless you begin practicing restraint, silence, and the subtle art of letting people sit with your decisions. Because every time you don't explain, you're rewiring the signal. You're teaching people, I don't owe you my reasons. My choice is enough. And that, whether in love, work, or life, is the kind of presence that commands respect. Let's bring this closer to real life. Because the idea of never explain yourself isn't just a nice philosophy. It's a tool you can use today. Think about dating. Picture this. Someone texts you. Why didn't you reply last night? Most people panic. They start typing. Sorry, I was busy. I fell asleep. My phone died. I had a long day at work. But here's the effect. That explanation sounds like an apology, and apologies, when they're not owed, lower your value. The other person walks away thinking they're the prize, and you're chasing approval. Now imagine instead, you just respond the next day with confidence. Good morning. How's your day? No excuses. No begging for forgiveness. What does that do? It flips the frame. Suddenly, they're the one leaning forward, wondering what you were doing, wondering why you didn't feel the need to explain. Your silence creates curiosity, and curiosity creates attraction. The same principle applies at work. Picture two employees. Both arrive late to a meeting. The first rushes in, tripping over their words. Sorry I'm late. The traffic was insane. My alarm didn't go off. And then I had to grab coffee. They might think they're clearing the air, but really, they just look unreliable. Now the second person walks in, simply says, morning, and takes their seat. Which one feels more in control? Which one triggers more respect? Always the one who owns the silence. And let's not forget friendships. You've probably been in a situation where a friend accuses you of being distant. You've changed, you don't hang out as much. What's going on? Many people overcompensate, explaining their schedule, their stress, trying to prove they still care. But the truth is, friendships shift. Priorities evolve. You don't always owe a defense for living your life. By staying calm and not scrambling to explain, you silently communicate. I'm grounded in who I am. I don't need to prove my loyalty through endless words. That doesn't push people away. It makes the ones who matter respect you more. Silence doesn't just create mystery. It creates a power imbalance. The one who explains is on the defensive. The one who doesn't is in control of the frame. And humans are drawn to whoever controls the frame. This is why some of the most powerful people in history were masters of silence. Leaders, thinkers, even negotiators, those who could sit in the tension, resist the urge to fill space with justifications, always came out stronger. Because in silence, people reveal themselves. They show their anxiety, their assumptions, their need for validation. And while they scramble, you sit steady. That's the real power move. Not louder words, not longer explanations, just stillness, just presence. By now you might be thinking, okay, I get it. Explaining makes me look weak, silence makes me look strong. But how do I pull this off in real life? Because let's be honest, most of us have been conditioned from childhood to explain ourselves, to justify, to defend, to smooth things over. Breaking that habit takes practice. So here are some practical steps to master this silent power move. Step 1. Embrace the pause. The urge to explain usually comes in a rush. Someone questions you, and your brain panics. Say something. Defend yourself. Instead of obeying that impulse, pause. Take a breath. Smile if you want. Let the silence stretch for just a moment. You'll be shocked how often the other person will fill it with their own assumptions. That pause is where your power begins. Step 2. Replace explanations with ownership. Instead of saying, "I'm sorry I couldn't make it, traffic was bad, and I had 3 meetings," just say, "I couldn't make it." Instead of, "I sent it late because my laptop froze and then the Wi-Fi went out," just say, "Yes, it was late." You're not lying. You're not being rude. You're simply stating facts without diluting them with excuses. It signals strength. Step 3. Get comfortable with people's discomfort. This is the hardest part. When you stop explaining, people will push. They'll press for reasons. They'll try to corner you into defending yourself, and it will feel awkward. But here's the thing. That discomfort isn't weakness. It's a test. If you can hold steady and not fold under the pressure, people eventually stop pushing. They learn that you don't owe explanations, and their respect for you quietly rises. Step 4. Use short, decisive language. Explanations are long. Power is short. Learn to use phrases like, "That's just what I decided. It works for me. I understand." Yes or no. Notice how final these words sound. They don't invite debate. They don't hand over control. They close the frame. Step 5. Reframe silence as confidence, not rudeness. Some people resist this strategy because they think, "Won't I come across as cold or arrogant?" Not if it's done with calm energy. Remember, this isn't about stonewalling or punishing people. It's about owning your decisions without begging for permission. You can still be warm, approachable, and kind, while also being someone who doesn't explain themselves away. Over time, something amazing happens. You stop feeling the need to justify yourself at all. It's not just a trick anymore. It becomes part of your identity. You carry yourself with a quiet assurance that says, "I know who I am. I don't need to prove it." And people will feel that. They'll sense the strength. They'll treat you differently. Because the moment you master the art of not explaining, you stop living for approval and start living from power. So let's step back for a moment. What have we really uncovered here? Explaining yourself isn't just about words, it's about power. Every explanation you give is like handing someone a piece of your authority. Piece by piece, word by word, you shrink yourself in their eyes. And the tragic part? Most people do this without even realizing it. They think they're being polite or transparent or nice. But what they're really doing is begging for validation in a world that respects certainty over apologies. Meanwhile, the people who hold back, the ones who speak less, the ones who don't scramble to justify, those are the people who draw others in. They trigger curiosity. They radiate quiet strength. And they're remembered as leaders, not followers. Here's the paradox you need to carry with you. People respect what they don't fully understand. They lean toward the one who leaves them wondering. And that's why silence, restraint, and mystery aren't just social tactics. They're survival strategies in a world full of noise. But let me be clear, this isn't about arrogance. It's not about shutting people out or being cold. It's about reclaiming the power you've been giving away without realizing it. It's about understanding that your decisions, your choices, your presence, those don't need footnotes. They don't need apologies. They don't need to be watered down with endless explanations. The next time someone demands, "Why did you do that?" Or "Why didn't you call me back?" Or "Why are you acting different?" Pause, breathe, and remind yourself, I don't owe an explanation. A simple, steady response is more powerful than any justification you could offer. And here's the real test I want you to try this week. Pick one moment, just one, where you would normally explain yourself. And don't let the silence speak. Watch how the other person reacts. Watch how the energy shifts. Watch how much stronger you feel, even if it's uncomfortable. That's you stepping into your power. That's you teaching the world a new way to treat you. Because the truth is, silence isn't empty. Silence is a message. And the message is this: I stand on my choices. I don't need your permission. I don't need your approval. I know who I am. And when you start living like that, something incredible happens. You stop chasing respect, and people start giving it to you freely. So here's my challenge to you. This week, stop explaining. Just once. See how it feels. See how people respond. And ask yourself, do I want to keep living as someone who gives away power with words? Or do I want to step into the silent strength Machiavelli knew centuries ago? The choice, as always, is yours.